you in the building?
What's up?
Okay, that's you. That's him. I need to back up. Back it up. He's not gonna do no flips. We didn't sign a waiver. We can't really.
Flips? I'm trying to see if this thing is on.
Good, you're good, boy. Boy, you good. Don't worry about yourself. You worry about the mouth. See an artist. There you go. Is this mic on? Is this mic on? There you go. Shout out to Aspernaut. You are in the studio. Welcome, brother.
Thank you, thank you.
All right, life is good. Life is good. When people ask artists and they say, "Hey, what you been up to?" So, what have you actually been up to? Give them a background of what you actually are. Are you an artist? Does that mean like you just draw pen and paper? Is that what you do?
Yeah. I think. Well, I'm an artist first and foremost. I'm a painter, but I would dabble in other styles or mediums, you know, if the funds are willing. But I just kind of settled on painting, and there's something about painting, like the buttery consistency, the way, you know, you move it with that classic stroke. Like I feel like I'm following behind the footsteps of all the other great painters that have lived.
No doubt.
There's something about the alignment of sitting in front of an easel and working on a piece with, you know, pigments and all their suspensions, water, slaving away over this canvas or this piece of wood or this street sign that I find. So.
Nice. And the same way, like you said, sometimes you feel that you're a part of the art that you're creating, and sometimes you gotta wait. Is there a patience that go with it? Like, does it take you like 3 months to just like, oh, okay, that's the hair. All right, let's leave it right there.
It's very much a ritual for me, so it depends. It's like I just go with the feeling. Like there are times that I'm impatient, and like some of my friends know this. Like I'm like, no, I have to do it now. Let's go get, you know, why isn't the store open? Or I'll, you know, cut corners and go to like CVS, or just walk to CVS and see what they have to just feel out the moment. Almost like I'm channeling within that time frame, and I need to execute the artwork at that particular moment, or it just won't be the same.
There you go. There you go. Love Ultra Radio. This is the Modern R&B Mix Show. We've been doing some segments with comedy, and right now it looks like we're doing an artistic segment, right? So we have a lot of listeners who are listening overseas, and they will always be able to listen to clips and the archive of these interviews on iTunes. So it's the same way, when somebody says, well, what kind of art do you do? And you're like, well, you know, I'm visual, you know, I'm different medium. Is it still hard in 2014 and as we move forward to explain to people like I create art? Sometimes I gotta, as you said, wait till the light is right before I can like visualize, like, you know what, I want to put a background, I need some other things. Do they not understand, like, art, you just can't do it, just do something?
With some commissions, you know, I'll send people mock-ups of what I'm working on so far, the composition, and I tend to forget, like, I do this for a living, or I know the extent of the entire process, and they'll kind of freak out, like, that doesn't look like me, you know. But it's like, wait, no, like, I can do this for real, I promise.
Right,
this is just me blocking in all, you know, the negative space or the positive space. So this is just where you would be positioned in the picture. Right. I know you don't have that many wrinkles, like.
Why you use a big brush? I ain't got a big nose. What you doing? And the same way, to be commissioned and to be a professional. We spoke to a lot of different young people as we were going through our travels. Salute to everybody who was at the ATL Jazz Fest. They were doing a lot of things out there. Is it okay for you to try to teach art? Is that something that you kind of get into?
Well, that comes kind of loaded for me, because I am actually gearing myself up towards teaching parkour, which is another art form that I practice of movement.
No doubt.
But with painting, it's almost like a natural sort of antisocial exercise, because you kind of sit there and, you know, or at least for me, I need my space and my quiet and my music to like just fall into, you know, and go for hours and hours. So I've never really been attracted to teaching art. And then I think for whomever is interested, it's more valuable if you go on that journey yourself. You know, there's enough books, there's enough videos. I think there'd be more of a clashing of egos if one artist tries to teach another.
Right, and especially if they try to do it in 20 minutes and you only got 3 more credits left, and we ain't got no more. Salute to everybody who's now in the ATL. You know, we're broadcasting from the ATL. I gotta put that in there right there.
Straight from the ATL.
Love Ultra Radio. And at the same time, on, there's a mesh of cultures and styles that's down here. So even what inspires you to just actually do art?
Oh man, that's like the long-winded one that comes out different every time. Well, one of the things that I picked up on most recently is that there are some remnants of like carnival costumes that have kind of stuck in my aesthetic, because just before I left Trinidad, I used to study a lot of Peter Minshall's work. He's one of the most popular carnival costume designers in Trinidad.
Nice.
And the way they're designed, it's to exemplify the woman, exemplify the body, and gilded with feathers and gold and jewels and trinkets and different structures. So, you know, it was almost kind of an epiphany one day when I like laid out all my work, and I do have a lot of it. You know, every woman has a halo or wings or some kind of cloak of light, or buildings and steels and roadways, and they're really like artifacts to me in that sense. So I borrow that style from, or the remnant of that memory of carnival culture and the costumes, and you know, I adapt it to the setting or the place that I find myself in now. You know, Atlanta, that I've made my home, and you know, I think of I almost think of myself as like, I don't know, like a caveman. Like, you know, you go out into the wilderness, you see great waterfalls and beasts and birds, and then you come back into your cave and you reflect on what you experience. And I experienced beauty in Atlanta. You know, both the skyline and the women.
Come on now. Let's be honest now. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it's and the ratios here in Atlanta are crazy. So.
Crazily.
Yeah, so he's not going to run out of work, ladies. Seriously, he's good.
But I do see both as a work of art, and the origination of the combination of the two, or the origination of that particular theme, it comes from thinking of each of these women as heroines or angels or deities or goddesses.
Yes, sir.
Following me along while I make my journey through my lifetime here in Atlanta, or wherever I end up going, and sort of guiding me along. Because if you go Midtown and you stand and you look up, those buildings are kind of towering over you. It's almost like they have a mass or a presence or an intelligence that is greater than you.
Yes, sir.
But every service, business, person, community within all those buildings are to serve the city.
Agree.
So, you know, it's really like the buildings are deities themselves. And so I try to express that by using a woman as the model.
And now, as you already know, some of your pieces are famous. And when we say famous, it's because not because they were sold or they were seen, because, you know, sometimes you have a showing and you have an exhibition, and then somebody's like, yo, I remember seeing that somewhere, and now it's finally made it like, yo, it's in front of me.
I'm pretty bad at my own PR.
Nah, come on, son. Yes, some of your pieces, I won't say in videos, or I won't say in you've reached a level where somebody says like, nah, I've seen that before. Same thing. It looks like the skyline and a woman, and it kind of mesh.
It's been on, you know, shout out to Hobie, House of Blended Ink.
For sure.
It's been in like 3 like cable TV shows so far, like Love and Hip Hop Atlanta.
Word up.
What's the other one? Heroes of Cosplay. And there was one more. I think it was R&B Divas.
Take your time with it.
It kind of sucks because I don't watch TV.
Nah, it's all good. And once again, we say sometimes you have to be trapped in your world to create. Right. And it's not actually trapped, because like you said, you actually get out. As you said, now your PR. Your PR is doing quite well, brother man. Give them the contact point before we move forward in the conversation. How do people get in touch with the Aspernaut?
The easiest way to reach me, follow me, laugh with me, draw with me, paint with me, jump off buildings with me.
Word up.
Is through my Instagram. It's at Aspernaut, ASPERNAUT.
For sure.
And I mean, there's links to actually a fundraiser I'm doing right now for a show I'm going to do in Florida next week. I'll tell you more about that later. There's my website. and just a brief description of my work and my emphasis.
We must now take it to Instagram. This is only part one of the part one interview. Obviously, when you get back from Florida, we're going to have a lot more to talk about.
Definitely.
The door's wide open right here. But part one, a lot of people have found you on Instagram. And they fell in love with the things that you do on Instagram. As you saw, as you explained earlier, give us a little bit more of a description for parkour. Just one sentence, if it can be explained. What the hell he be doing over there? What's he doing? I only want to say that because sometimes, I think it was one of your Instagrams. A guy was like, "Hey, what you doing over there?" I was like, "Hey, it's parkour." It's what? It's parkour.
Oh yeah. That was like right at the crossing of the 17th Street Bridge and Spring Street, and there's like a little parking lot there that I used to go to right when I first started. I started like on my 21st birthday.
Nice.
I was looking for a job and I wasn't getting any callbacks, and I've been wanting to do this for a while, thinking like, you know what?
Yeah.
I have all the time in the world now, and so the very first thing I did was find something about waist high, run as fast as I can, jump off, and see if I could survive. And that's what most people do when they first start, because unfortunately, what a lot of people take away from parkour is that it's some sort of like, daredevil ego trip, a creative way to commit suicide, when it's actually a sound discipline. You have martial arts, like taekwondo, kung fu, Shotokan. Shout out to Tony Chapman.
There you go. James Hawker.
And parkour is a movement art. You learn to train your mind and your body and your reaction time and everything about your being to move through space as efficiently and quickly as possible. So first there's the efficiency and the safety.
All right.
And then secondly, once you've moved along a certain level of training, it becomes less of how efficiently can you move and more of how do you want to move, because you're opened up to options.
There you go.
With the abilities, there are more routes available to you because you've trained to overcome whatever obstacles will be blocking you from reaching. Sometimes I'll just stand like on like a low wall or a roof or something, like I want to go there, and I try to beeline over there as best I can without taking any streets, without turning any corners, and it's like mastering your urban wilderness, basically.
Life is good. Life is good. I'm going to say the Aspernaut, he is in the studios right now. We are in Stone Mountain. So that means that to everybody who thought, well, I can climb Stone Mountain, they think that that's how they push themselves and that endurance and things like that. How does that figure in with, you actually have to train your body. You got to eat well. You have to, mentally be strong.
I would say it's kind of weird. It's like, parkour has a way of intrinsically rewarding you. People think like, oh, aren't you gonna, get injured or break something? But when you're training for the right reasons and you know what you're doing, there comes a point where you're like, well, I'm gonna be safe because I don't want to hurt myself, because if I do, that means I can't train.
Can't continue on your own journey.
And so it's almost, you would protect yourself, less so for your own health, but for the ability to keep training.
There we go. He is an artist and he's a man of the world, of which we all should be. Is there something that maybe you see in other places in mankind that we're not really in tune with nature or with the world or with others? What is it that some people are just not catching on?
Well, being from the Caribbean myself, it's kind of baffling how, I wouldn't say everybody, but like most Americans just don't have a relationship with their food. Like people don't know what a coconut looks like without it being peeled, or like, when they're sick, they don't understand like just like vitamin C or be hydrated, drink water.
Your body's telling you like, real simple essentials.
Like water, like.
I love it. So a lot of people please be in tune with yourself. Is it okay now for you, as you said, you're a professional, you have to be approached the right way when somebody wants to commission you for work? It's not just, oh, that look good, how much that cost?
I don't respond to those.
We love it. And the same way, as a professional, this is the bread and butter. So some people must really say, well, how much is art? Or does your art have a price tag?
It does. I have very distinct, solid prices for my private collection for the work that I've made out of my own imagination and my own interest. But I do have a set breakdown for people who want to commission me for their own, like whatever they want to commission me for, whether it's a spouse or a loved one or a child or a scene or a mural.
Word up. And like you said, shout out to Hobie and the AO Dub.
AO Dub.
The family over there. Can't forget about my
D-Lyric.
people. Can't forget about my people.
Christina, Hussein, Tenzin. They've actually been helping me a lot. They allow me to just keep doing what I'm doing in my garage, and then they promote all my work
and push it out.
Yeah,
love it. Teamwork, dream work. I like it. And like you said before, how do we get in contact with the Aspernaut?
Well, like I said, look for me, find me on Instagram. It's at Aspernaut, ASPERNAUT. You can email me or find me on Google Plus at aspernaut@gmail.com. And those really are the best two channels. Like, you see me, I'm never without my iPad.
Into war and back. I love it. That's what it is. Team iPhone, I just want to let you know that. Samsungers.